morning, Eric.
Morning, Mr. K.
All right, so today our topic is about Bitcoin and blockchain. I think for this one, it may be a very familiar topic to you, but to me, it is honestly it is still difficult. But before this topic, I tried to 1 or 2 days before, I tried to understand and know more. Yeah, but I find that yes, it is not something that we can just learn within like a few days or like a few minutes. Yep.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
mm-mm.
and you have to expect yourself to spend I would say at least 100 hours to have a rough idea about Bitcoin. 100 hours, and if you spend like more than 300, maybe 300 to 500 hours, then you will have a much more comprehensive idea about Bitcoins and the blockchain. And if you spend more than 1,000 hours, and you can become expert.
Yep. So, which level are you at?
I think I'm at the second level.
More than 300, less than 500, is it?
Maybe already more than 500 because I didn't really count it. I think the hour is just give you the idea, and you shouldn't like, oh, today I will spend 30 minutes and then I read some Bitcoin, I read some blockchain, read some Ethereum. Okay, 30 minutes passed. I can do other thing, and tomorrow comes again. No, this is not like this. What it means is you really spend time thinking it, and also you really do the research. You really read the things. You really like listen podcasts and really actively learning more than 300 hours.
Yeah.
And 1 year ago, I thought I already kind of like, maybe it's not fully, but I understand Bitcoin maybe 70% or 80% already.
Yeah.
But no, actually it's no.
Oh.
The answer is no. Then in these recent years, I become more humble. And if you ask me how much I know in Bitcoin, in blockchain, I would say maybe 60%. There are still many things for me to learn.
Yep. Yeah, and just now you mentioned about Bitcoin, and to me or to maybe some outsider people who don't really learn what is Bitcoin, what is blockchain. To us, actually, Bitcoin and blockchain, it seems like they are interrelated. To me, also, I couldn't like very clear what are they. My understanding right now is like blockchain is networks. It is a network system. It's a platform, and then Bitcoin is a currency. It's a digital and cryptocurrency work in this network or system. Is it something like that? They use
No,
this technology.
Bitcoin is blockchain. Blockchain is Bitcoin. And
Okay.
blockchain, if you say blockchain is a platform, Bitcoin can also be a platform. And you can say they are the same thing. But blockchain, you have to know that what you are talking. And if you talk about blockchain, if you really talk about the blockchain we commonly use in crypto industry, you are actually talking the Satoshi Nakamoto consensus blockchain.
Okay, so Satoshi is the Bitcoin founder, right? Are you
creator?
Creator, okay.
Yes. And okay, just now I say the Nakamoto consensus blockchain. What does it mean? It actually okay. Blockchain is not it's not a new thing. Even 10 years before the Bitcoin first first invented or first created. Yeah, and blockchain is not new thing. What is blockchain? Blockchain before Bitcoin exists, blockchain is something like you hash something, and then you make it stem it once one block, and the block can be anything. For example, one of the newspaper, I forget, is maybe a New York Times. They actually has a space that they stem some maybe some answer for some questions, something like that, or stem some maybe some information, and then they hash it, and then they stamp it on the newspaper. So for example, today is the first week, the week one they stamp, and then the week two they also stamp another, and then you can think like each newspaper is a block they link together, and then inside the block and inside the hash, what is the information? Maybe it can include the time, include the date, include some other information.
Yeah.
So same as Bitcoin, every block they will have the maybe like the block header, something like that, and then so they can link together, or the previous block hash, so it can link together. And so blockchain is not a new thing. And what so what is really the Satoshi Nakamoto consensus blockchain? What does it mean? It actually means this is a decentralized blockchain. Technically, you say the old style of blockchain is just a distributed database system. It's not uncommon. It's very, very common, and it is not efficient. Yeah. Why you want to store your database in so many places? Why you want to use peer-to-peer way to store your data? And it's not it's not efficient. Because you can't like duplicate the data in many database, in many hard disks.
Yeah.
So Satoshi Nakamoto consensus of blockchain is they use a decentralized way to do this kind of blockchain, and also including the mechanism to incentivize people work together and prevent double spend or solve the Byzantine general problems. So this is Satoshi Nakamoto's consensus blockchain, and this is genius work. And before Bitcoin, nobody can actually solve the Byzantine general problems without a centralized authority, centralized control entities.
So you mean before Bitcoin, you say the newspaper company, right? So the blockchain that they are using is also still considered centralized. Am I correct?
What do you mean? Which one are you referring to?
The newspaper. You say they use the blockchain to save maybe the data.
Yes.
So as long as somebody control it, so
but you also can store the data. You also can store your own data, and you can store. I mean, you can cut off the quote unquote the block on the newspaper each week. You also can store it, right? But who control the data? It's a newspaper that control data.
Yeah. And also I have some question, which is like, you see, Bitcoin, the creator is Satoshi, but this identity is like nobody know, right? Anonymous. For the other cryptocurrency, which is the second largest, the Ethereum. Yeah, for that one, the creator is uh, yeah, there are a few creator, right? Two or three, and yeah, they are so. So to me, how they can make Ethereum like decentralized because there is a creator, and also seems like Ethereum they have their upgrade, right? Like Ethereum 2.0. So it
Yeah.
means that they can change something on it, right?
Yes.
So how can it be decentralized?
Yeah. It is not fully decentralized, unlike Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is the most decentralized blockchain. So far, for almost 10 years, Bitcoin always is the most decentralized blockchain. So ironically, and why so ironically, many people criticize Bitcoin is old tech, but they just can't replace Bitcoin. They must have some reason. For 10 years already, and in these 10 years, it's not an easy years. It's not an easy decade. You know why? Because this is in a free market, and the competition is so cruel. 10 plus thousand of the crypto want to replace Ethereum, want to replace Bitcoin, but they just can't. And then in like 2017, there's a block size war, a block size war. And if you're interested, you can try to read the history. And technically, it's some, to simplify, is it at that time there's a hard fork, which is one. Before that, only have one Bitcoin, and then after the hard fork, which means it's split into two chains. One is the original Bitcoin, another is called the Bitcoin Cash. And why Bitcoin Cash? There's a group of people that say, okay, we want to increase the block size because Bitcoin, the block size is too small and it is not usable and it is not scalable. It cannot scale. So we want to increase the block size. So more people can use Bitcoin with a cheaper fees. This is their intention.
Okay.
And then they split. But so far, Bitcoin is still the largest, and Bitcoin Cash, and also another hard fork, another split from the Bitcoin Cash called the BSV. It's kind of like Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. Yeah, it's something like that. they give a name on the coin. They split from the Bitcoin Cash. And now, if you look at these two crypto or these two blockchain, their hash rate is just around 1% of the total hash rate of Bitcoin. So what does it mean? If Bitcoin mining nodes, as AKA Bitcoin miners, 1% of them decided want to do a double spend on Bitcoin Cash or BSV, they just can do that very easily in any second, in any millisecond they can do it. You get what I mean?
Actually, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Yeah, only 1% of them wanted to do double spend. So how about the other 99%? Do they follow?
No. Now if you look at the total hash rate, if you look at total hash rate, and Bitcoin Cash or BSV, their total hash rate is only 1% of the hash rate of the total hash rate of Bitcoin. And in order to do double spend, you need at least 51% total hash rate.
Yeah.
Right? And because the Bitcoin Cash, BSV, they are using the same mechanism in mining, using the ASIC equipment. Unlike the proof of work Ethereum 1.0 using the GPU. So for Bitcoin, since they are using the same type of equipment, ASIC, to mine the Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin, if there's only one, if there's 1%, if there's 1% of miner, so there's been the miner group together, or maybe just one miner owns at least 1% of Bitcoin total hash rate.
Okay.
Does it mean that he can go to the Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin and BSV, and then try to mine the BSV, or try to mine the Bitcoin Cash, and then do a double spend, or try to destroy the network?
Oh. So, okay, my understanding now is BSV is kind of like, is it a side chain or what?
It is another blockchain.
Okay, so it is compared to the whole Bitcoin, it is like too small, only like 1%.
Yeah.
So when the Bitcoin miner, let's say a bigger one, like you say, he can control 1% of the mining, and he go to the Bitcoin Cash, and then at that he is the majority, right? So he can like
can change the rules. He can do a double spend.
Yeah.
So you can see how vulnerable of Bitcoin Cash and BSV is. And this is free market. This is just consensus. Why people prefer Bitcoin more than BSV, more than Bitcoin Cash? Why the difference so huge? 1% versus just 1%. Just only 1% of the total number of people in crypto prefer Bitcoin Cash rather than Bitcoin. So what if there's a consensus people prefer the greater block size, which they prefer Bitcoin Cash in 2017, and Bitcoin you just kind of like flip the coin. The Bitcoin is just the 1%, and Bitcoin Cash now is a dominance, or maybe often cannot survive.
Yeah.
So you have to look at, if you want to know what is Bitcoin, you really need to know what is the purpose of Bitcoin. What Bitcoin intend to solve? What is the problem Bitcoin intend to solve?
Yeah. Yep. So we continue, which is Bitcoin. Yep. And then I saw a lot of articles. They say Bitcoin can be kind of like serve the function of gold, right? Which is become the store of value. Yeah, for this one, for this one, it is like not the Ethereum want to achieve, right? Do they?
No, I will say no.
And I always see they use the word like smart contracts on Ethereum. So is it the biggest difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum?
The difference is in the ideology and also the philosophy. Bitcoin, okay, you have to look at go back to the question I raised out. What is Bitcoin? And what is the purpose of Bitcoin? And what is Bitcoin intend to solve? Bitcoin actually intend to replace the central bank and wants to form a global reserve currency or the global money, or the global asset that everyone can hold and nobody can control. This is not just for the micropayment, just for the day-to-day transaction payment purpose. No. And if you try to look back, there are many there are many information actually indicate it already. Why Satoshi create Bitcoin? And the most motivating, and every time I saw this thing, I feel amazing, which is the information included in the Genesis block. And Satoshi put the message in the Genesis block, which is the times 3rd of January 2009. Change law on brink of second bailout for banks. So it is in the 3rd of January 2009. And at that time, it's a global financial crisis, and the Bank of England decided to do maybe QE or maybe to kind of like print the money and build out the bank. So this is a message in the Genesis block of Bitcoin. So this is the most powerful, I would say the most powerful Bitcoin. And then you can also look at some others. For example, if you dip in and you try to read the mail list, the Satoshi Nakamoto reply others queries in the earlier years, like 2009 and 2010, and there's some code. There's some very famous code. One of these is regarding to central bank. The code is: the root problems with conventional currencies is all the trust that's required to make it work. The central bank must be trusted, not to debase the currency. But the history of fiat currencies is full of breaches of that trust. Banks must be trusted to hold our money and transfer it electronically, but they lend it out in waves of credit bubbles with barely fractions in reserve. And then there's other code. There is other code which is about the decentralization. Code: a lot of people automatically dismiss e-currency as a lost cause because of the companies that failed since the 1990s. I hope it's obvious it was only the centralized. I hope it's obvious it was only the centrally controlled nature of those systems that doomed them. I think this is the first time we're trying a decentralized, non-trust-based system. So in 2009, people asked Satoshi. In the past, many of the companies tried to create the e-currency, but all of them failed. So it's kind of like, want to ask Satoshi why you think the Bitcoin will succeed, something like will success, something like that. And then Satoshi replied, which is, in the past, this is a company, and they do the e-currency because they are centralized. They are very easily to being like bring down of the centrally authority. But if something is fully decentralized, central bank or the government just cannot take it down. And there's also another code which is about no third party. So the code is with e-currency based on cryptographic proof without the need to trust the third party middlemen. Money can be secure and transaction effortless. So the security, the security here. So if you try to see some of the very, very important message that Satoshi give us, and you can find that Bitcoin is actually not initially, originally, even in the Satoshi visions, it wants it to become the global money. It don't want just become a virtual money and just used for day-to-day transactions. No. There's a bigger vision, want to replace the whole financial system, want to become the base layer of everything in finance. But maybe due to some reasons, in my thoughts, maybe due to some reason, this vision is too big. This is just too big. So in the white paper, and at that time, people don't think too far. Unlike nowadays, people start to realize that, oh, actually central bank is kind of like a parasite of the system. But at that time, people think that central bank is kind of like the god that save the safe economy. But now it seems like more and more people realize that central bank government keep manipulating the free markets and then make all of us worse and make who benefits, make the politician, make the servants, the public servants benefit from it. So go back to just now my point. In my thoughts, maybe at that time people don't have that kind of imaginations, so that Satoshi wants to attract people to look at this thing. So in the white paper, the title of white paper, Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer cash system. But a cash system, does it only means just for payment? It can be debated, but this is a little bit ambiguous. So it's not just a cash system. Is not just only used for payment. So even though if you look at the title, Satoshi didn't make it very, very clear. But it also didn't make it too specific and make people really 100% certain that Bitcoin is just want to become a currency. And also, the most important message, I think, is the genesis block, the message in the genesis block, because this is a message cannot be reversed, immutable, and always exists in Bitcoin blockchain, which is the first message in Bitcoin, which is the bailout of the bailout for banks. This is the most important message, and no one should ignore this message and think like, okay, Bitcoin is for payment, right? So this is the purpose of Bitcoin, I would say. And I would say, Bitcoin community is really, really tough. They stand with the stress, and after the hard fork of the Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin community and Bitcoin still keep growing and growing bigger and bigger and bigger, and now still the dominant blockchain, and also the more decentralized blockchain, and also the most promising blockchain. Yeah, and if you go back to the reason why I talking of this thing, which is this 10 years for Bitcoin is not easier. There's so many competitions we cannot see. Yeah, and it's just a nature, just like a law of nature. Lion eat zebra, zebra maybe eat grass, something like that. And it's kind of like a Darwinian style of competition. It's very cool. Only the most adaptive and only the stronger creature can survive. And in blockchain world, it's a Bitcoin.
Yeah, the largest, right? And the second largest is Ethereum. It seems like only reach half of it, right?
You mean the market caps?
Yeah.
I think it's not half. Maybe the third. Maybe a third. Maybe a third, or maybe a fourth, a quarter. Maybe a quarter.
Yep. And yeah, since the Bitcoin is not just like digital payment system, right? Yeah, it is not just small little purpose. So in the future, let's say Bitcoin is still very successful, but is it possible that we have like 2 or 3 cryptocurrency at the same time, and then maybe they cooperate with each other's interaction? Do you think it will be the case, or the case like only one will survive?
Yeah, first of all, to correct myself, first, I just look at the market caps of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Yeah, Ethereum is kind of like a half of the Bitcoin in terms of market capitalization. And just now, your question is, will Bitcoin just the only blockchain? Right?
Yeah.
I would say no. Yeah, I would say no. You still can see other blockchain. I think Ethereum is here to stay. And even though it's not the decentralized, even though the developer kind of like control the whole blockchain, and they have more power than others. Than like mining nodes and also the full nodes. Developers just have so much power over the whole blockchain. Although you may say inside Ethereum, if you want to make a EIP, Ethereum internal proposal, something like that, you want to pass through the proposal, and you want to make it really make a function really built on Ethereum. It's a very difficult, because they have some mechanism inside, and you need to many people audit the proposal, many people audit the code to ensure no bug, something like that. But still, you cannot deny developer control too much power over the blockchain. And just like you say, will Bitcoin will only Bitcoin exist? I would say no. Why? Because this is in the free market. People maybe people and Ethereum did provide some value, did provide a huge value. The first is ICO. Every people have visions. Every people have the ability. They can raise money from public. They don't need to go through the traditional traditional way. Hire lawyer, hire all those things. Yeah, they don't need to do that. They don't even need to do like the crowdfunding in US dollar. And you also need to pay the crowdfunding companies. And on Ethereum, no, you just do the ICO. Enough people believe you, they invest in your coin. Yeah. So it is kind of like a new way to create a company. and whether it should be regulated by governments, by like the SEC, some other security commissions, security commissions organization. I have no idea. And if there's control over the blockchain, over this kind of blockchain, does all of these blockchain still can maintain their decentralization if something really bad happens? The government really want to ban all of these things.
Yeah.
And what is the purpose? And also, some of the blockchain, behind blockchain, there's a company. For example, Uniswap. Behind the Uniswap, there's a Uniswap lab. And behind like the one of blockchain called the Cardano, behind there's also a company. This kind of like the foundation, the company. And you want to say they are fully centralized like XRP? No, they are not. But you want to say they are fully decentralized like Bitcoin? No, they also no. So whether futures we need the we need the kind of like the middle. Do we really need in the middle? Not fully decentralized, but also not fully centralized. Do we really need the middle? And for money, if you talk about money, really we need decentralization.
Yeah.
We don't want anyone's. We don't want there's any entities and any individual can control, can take over a system, can make the system. Can make the system for their own benefits. We don't want this. So the exchange of the trade-off of the inefficiencies of the peer-to-peer network or the blockchain, which as well as the distributed database system. The trade-off of this is actually good. I will say good, and it's worth for it. But if you look at some others, for example, you say you want to do you want to do a smart contract. Couldn't the services and product provided by companies, which is centralized organization, and they can provide more efficient and they can more cheaper services because they are centralized. So do you really need something in the middle? I don't have answer, and many of the experts also don't have the answer. This is just uncertain. But I would say Ethereum did provide a lot of value. And if you want to expect traditional organization to do this, it's very, very difficult. And because it's just like replace some cost to another cost. Yeah. And on Ethereum, okay, for example, if you want to do ICO, you go through the traditional way and you need to pay a very high price. So maybe you raise 1 million and comes into your pocket only left 700K. Yeah, the 300K goes to the company. They earn the money. But on Ethereum, you can own the 1 million. And also for example, let's say it's one of the very, very popular industry in crypto, especially on Ethereum ecosystem, which is the defined decentralized finance. People can lend money, people can borrow money on Ethereum. Yeah, and 24/7, you can do it anytime. And also, the interest could be free market interest rate. First thing is nobody control them, and second, there's a competition, and there's no really there's no kind of like a central authority can control the interest rate. So the market interest rate is a market interest rate, and also unlike the traditional, unlike the TradFi, which is a traditional finance, only certain people, only certain wealthy or certain high class people able to access all the facilities. How much interest rate a poor people need to pay in TradFi? They can only access credit card loans, personal loans, and in some country, for example, in Malaysia, credit card loans is more than 15 or 18% interest rate. And if you look at the personal loans, unsecured personal loans, the flat interest is around 7 to 8%. What is the effective rate of interest? It's even higher, you know. Yeah. How can poor people access cheap loans? How can poor people have the same opportunity to borrow money from other people? Traditional finance don't provide all of these facilities. Why bank need to do that? They just focus on the top because this is the profit, and they don't need to care about the bottom. They don't need to provide facility to the bottom because this is just unprofitable.
Yeah, they focus on the biggest fish.
Yeah, so it's not fair, and it contributes to the rich become richer and poor become poorer. And also, one other thing is, Ethereum create an opportunities for everyone can invest in a startup, unlike in the TradFi. Can you invest in Facebook before it becomes so successful? Can you invest in Grabcar? Can you invest in SpaceX, Tesla before it go IPO? No. You heard so many successful investors. They invest the stock before they go IPO. This is wow, so brilliant. They earn 1,000x on their initial capital. But do normal people have the opportunities? No. But in crypto, everyone has the same opportunity. Wouldn't it be a fair system? Yeah. Even though it's not a fully decentralized system, so it has some value, in my opinion. So that's the reason I hold Ethereum. Yeah.
Yeah, and just now we talk about lending and borrowing. For this part, you say that is the DeFi, right?
Decentralized finance. Yes.
Yeah. This part I always very confused and has got no idea. Let's say somebody want to borrow money, somebody want to lend money, and yeah, what if there is default kind of things? So yeah, how are they going to solve that?
The default means the lender lose money. If really there's a serious default, but those smart contracts, for example, like Aave, Compound, they will distribute a fraction of profit into the insurance policy. So if there's some bug, or is somebody really in a serious time, and then they default, and the smart contract, maybe due to the bug, or maybe due to some other reason, the market fall sharply and cannot sell cannot sell to recover the loan amount, and then the lender lose money, and maybe the insurance can pay them a part of the capital or full of the capital. And in DeFi, okay, although you have some like the kind of like the fractional system, but actually, or I should say the under collaterals system. But most of the successful smart contract, they are over collateral system. So what does it mean? For example, I want to borrow money.
Yeah.
For example, I want to borrow $100. I have to put $200 inside the smart contract so that I can take out $100, which I can borrow $100. And to know people, it seems like it's so ridiculous. I need $100. I don't have $100. So I want to borrow $100. Yeah. And if I have $200, why I still need to borrow money? Something like that, right? Yeah. So it's like quite ridiculous, but this is know how even this is also not how our fiat system work for wealthy people. For the people who know how to use the capital, they don't buy things by using their real cash. Yeah, they borrow money and buy it, and then their money can still stay in the investment and still earning a yield. Yeah. Yeah. But some of the smart contract, they allow you to do the under collaterals. So that means, let's say I want to borrow like 1,000 USDC. I can put in 500 USDC and borrow out 1,000 USDC. So what does it mean? For example, I know I need 500. I need to spend on something that will cost me 1,000, but I only have 500 USDC. Yeah. So that's means I need to finance myself another $500, right? So I put in my 500 USDC, put it as a collateral, and then I can take out 1,000. So I have 1,000 and spend on something, and then I earn some money. I earn another 500, and then I pay back maybe I can put in the contract, and then so it's kind of like I fully pay back, right? Plus your initial 500 collaterals. Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. Is it like this? No, it's not like this. You yeah. Right. Yeah, it's like this. Yeah. So it's kind of like if you want to borrow 500 and then you put in 500 and then take out 1,000, something like that. Right. Yep. And the smart contract will have the kind of like the oracle to check the price. If the price drop at a certain rate, okay, and then it will sell your token. For example, if you borrow Ethereum, if you put in Ethereum, or you put in other cryptocurrency, and then you take out the stable coin, USDC, USDT, DAI, something like that, and so your crypto will fluctuate, right? Ethereum, maybe BTC, your coin will fluctuate, and if your coin fluctuate below or around your collaterals, and you will just sell all your coin. Take out your collateral, and then also take out and then the smart contract will not lose money. This is for over collateral system. And actually I'm not sure in the kind of like the smart contract really have under collateral. It seems like don't have. Yeah. And what have the under collateral is kind of like the company that provide the product and services, which is a centralized organization, which is not on the blockchain. This is a company. They offer you the loans.
Yeah, just like the bank, right?
Yeah, and some of the company ones, for example, called the BlockFi, and another called maybe the Celsius. Yeah, I just can't remember of them. And yeah, if I was not mistaken, under collateralized system just cannot work in blockchain in the really the peer-to-peer, like kind of like the decentralized style way, because you cannot trust a person if they under collateralize something. What if they really default?
Yeah.
What if they take out money and then they want to pay you and there's no identity crack? You cannot find them. So kind of like if I was not mistaken, there's no under collaterals lending and borrowing smart contract. Maybe in future you have some people who can create some clever mechanism to do this kind of under collaterals system. Maybe it's already has some, but I just didn't aware. But who is going to use those systems? Who is going to use those smart contracts? Just no safe for lender.
Yep. Yep. And yeah, also there is a part I saw. They say actually blockchain with this system or technology, it actually gives benefits to a lot to the maybe like the bank. So it means that bank, they can apply these blockchain. Maybe it's a private one, right? The private blockchain system, so that to operate their business, something like that.
Yeah, and it's a technology. It benefits for everyone. Yeah, it just don't benefit for those people who don't adopt it when it go mainstream. Just like internet, just like online, e-commerce, online business. Yeah, does it benefit everyone? No, but it benefits for those who adopt them.
Yeah. And suddenly I have one idea in my mind, which is like, just now we say under collateral, maybe not very effective, or maybe difficult in the decentralized blockchain system. So how about when we have the blockchain, maybe in the future, it is common, and at the same time the bank still exists, they somehow still can, some of them still can survive, and they are offering decentralized services, so they can borrow money
Why bank want to?
under collateral.
Why bank as a centrally organization, they provide defined product? No point. When they lend you, they are centrally organization, right?
Yeah.
How can they provide decentralized product?
They
can join.
I say it wrongly.
They can join. For example, they have money. They can put their money to on the ecosystem and lend into other people. They can do that. Yeah, they can use the platform, right? Just like everyone. they can use the platform to lend money to others or try to borrow money from this kind of smart contract from other lender.
Yeah.
To do some investment or those things. Everyone have a chance, not only bank, not only individuals.
Yeah. So do you mean that at that time it depends on whether decentralized ways of doing business like bank, they look at the profit, right? If they are more profitable to join the decentralized finance market, then maybe they don't do decentralized business like right now.
There's a regulation. There's a regulation here. I think bank cannot just join this kind of decentralized platform very easily because this is not fully regulated industry, and I'm not sure whether the government and the central bank allow you to do this because you are using the depositor money, and you are I mean for bank you are running a fractional system, fractional reserve system, and if something is kind of like recessions or there's a global financial crisis, you rely on central bank to pump in money, to print money to save you, to bail you out. This is just common, and it's not going to solve in any future. In futures, if we still using the fiat system, if we still have the fractional reserve system, it's just not going to solve. This is a system problem. Yeah, you need the central bank to function it. You need the central bank to print money. Yeah, to print money benefit for this bank, this banker. And by taking out the money from everyone's pockets, right? Inflation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the bank, you are telling the central bank, yeah, you are right. Central bank, you are right. I rely on you, but I still want to use the deposited money and put inside this kind of decentralized protocol and earn some profit. How will central bank react to you? Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems like because cryptocurrency like Bitcoins, the main purpose for them to solve is those centralized problem, right? For example, the monetary policy, they're printing money, inflation, this kind of thing. So so it seems like once the cryptocurrency success, then the fiat currency need to be like go out,
Not
need to be
necessary.
replaced.
Not necessary. And one of the predictions from Michael Saylor, and he also a Bitcoiner, and he says something I think has the highest probability how the futures is going to play out.
Okay.
He says all of the small currency, all of the small fiat currency will just devalue against USD. USD will just become stronger and stronger. US dollar becomes stronger and stronger. And at the same time, and US dollar is not going away. It's not going away. But at the same time, like Bitcoin will still grow exponentially. And you don't have, I mean, you don't need all the fiat currency field in order to Bitcoin to success. You don't need that. Bitcoin just offer you a saving. For example, you can think like Bitcoin is a saving technology. Bitcoin allow everyone to own a property, to put their money in something that nobody can inflate. So no matter how central bank print money, how much they print, how much government spends, the currency devalue, okay, the fiat currency devalue, and not only once fiat currency devalue, it's all the fiat currency devalue because all of them are printing money. So it seems like, okay, if one of the country they keep printing money, wouldn't it create a hyperinflation? Wouldn't the foreign exchange rate change dramatically? It will. But what if all the central bank print money at the same time? The foreign exchange rate is still the same, and who benefit? All the bankers around the world, and who are the victims? Every of us, besides bankers. Yeah. So that's with Bitcoin, you can treat it like the vehicle, allow you to own something that nobody can confiscate, nobody can take away from you, nobody can inflate. And you say gold function the same? Yes, gold function the same. But what if your country doing really bad and they can take out all your gold? They can confiscate your gold, and it's not uncommon that governments confiscate your gold. If we look at the history, and gold also will devalue over time, and also you're not sure in future what technology will make the gold supply increase drastically. Maybe Elon Musk bring tons of gold come from maybe from one of the orbits come back to our Earth. Then our gold supply double. This is a risk. And don't talk about the universe. How about undersea? Can you extract gold? Can you mine the gold undersea? Maybe you can.
Technology.
If the technology advance further. And also gold as a commodities. What does it mean? When the gold price rise, what gold miner do? They invest more in the equipment. They advance their technology. They mine more gold. And then they get the gold, they sell. They sell to recover their capital, their expenditure, their capex, and also their opex, operating expenditure, and then they earn some profits. This is a business, this is commodities. And they are the smart people will mine gold. The smart people is not going to buy gold. And it applies on other commodities like silver, like copper. Gold is just a king of the commodity, but it doesn't mean that it's not commodity, right? And gold is old tech. Nobody is there anybody want to own gold? I afraid millennials who want to own gold.
Difficult to store also, right?
And also storing is a problem. You want to store a large quantity of gold. Where do you store? Store at your home, or put at the bank? Put at the bank, and in the bank vault. And what if the government say that, okay, take out all this gold, and I force the gold depositor to exchange the gold to my banknote. It happened many times. You cannot take out your gold. You can only exchange. You put in gold, and after some time, you cannot take out your gold. You can only exchange the currency, the fiat currency back. It happens so many times. And also, what if maybe there's a bank run? The bank maybe bankrupt. How about you gold? You are still betting on the centrally authority.
Yeah.
Gold is a centralized kind of like small quantity of gold. You can use it for daily transactions, but if you want to store your wealth, you still need to rely on centralized entities. And also, what if I want to buy something overseas? How do I use the physical thing, gold, to buy? And even though you cannot use a fiat system to buy something, central bank need to communicate to another central bank, and they have the import export, and each of them will check the counterparty whether they have enough reserve, whether they have enough like the US dollar global reserve currency. So I'm willing to do trade with you. Yeah. And they still need to ship ship the gold over some country to do the final settlement. Yeah. And it's complicated, very, very complicated. And you think you using a credit card, you using an e-wallet to pay something is instant. It's instant, but it's not instant. It's not the final settlement. And if you want instant, you can use Lightning Network. Lightning Network can do the instant. And final settlement you can do on Bitcoin. Maybe at least you wait at least 1 hour. You can have a final settlement.
Yeah. They say the 6 block, right? After 6 block.
But if you in the fiat system, maybe you need a few months. For example, the check note can claw back after 2 weeks. Maybe the credit card you can claw back the amount after 1 month.
Yeah.
And just now you talk about gold. Yeah. So gold is not very good for store very long time because it keep inflating. Yeah. It's kind of like don't have a fixed supply. Nobody really know what's a fixed supply, and you can bring it more from a universe from undersea. And also it's not convenient to trade to across over space because it's physical. So many people say that Bitcoin is virtual. Bitcoin is not real. It's not physical. It's virtual. So they think Bitcoin don't have intrinsic value. It's bad because I cannot see, I cannot touch, I cannot feel. But to me, it's a feature. It's not a bug. Physical is a bug. You want the security. You want the security, right? But you don't necessarily means physical means security. Yeah. What you want is a security. What you want is not the physical. It's something virtual but very, very secure. Yeah. What does it mean? It can transfer over the space in light speed. Can you do it in physical thing?
Yeah. Even you can, the transaction cost will be very, very high.
And try to ship the gold around the world one route back to your origins. Ship around the world and back to your origin. How much you need to cost? Maybe you lose 50% of your gold, and you still need to hire the bodyguards, hire the arms to kind of like protect your gold. Otherwise, you will
buy
just
insurance.
Otherwise, you just lose all of them. And if you buy insurance also have the terms and conditions. You may not claim. You may not claim back if you maybe if your ship is on the public sea, because nobody can control the public sea. And insurance company is not going to pay you if you go lose in the public sea. And also, where do you buy the insurance? In which jurisdiction? Maybe the insurance company say, I don't protect you in another jurisdiction.
Okay. Yeah, before end, I have maybe last question, which is like, in order to really make blockchain and then Bitcoin and some other cryptocurrency uh, popularize, which is like become a common thing, used all around the world. Um, do you think the kind of like the education levels or the awareness of people need to reach a certain level so that people have the awareness and then to trust these kind of like newer technology, so that it can succeed?
Education is very important, I would say. And just how you say, the awareness, it just keep increasing. Look at around the world.
Mm,
And in my opinions, maybe Bitcoin can prevent the war and have a peace transition. We still have the social revolution, but maybe because of Bitcoin, we won't have the war, like the World War III,
mm,
because we have Bitcoin.
mm.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, it
We
is
don't
kind
need
of
to.
like a
Mm,
unified one, right? Unified
mm,
currency.
yeah, we don't really need to fight to replace the old system,
Mm,
to get the new leader on the stage and trust the new leader do something good. We don't really need to have a war. We need to fight each other because we
mm,
have Bitcoin. We just switch to another system. Maybe some this is not my origins. This not the idea come from me originally. I get it from some other people, and I totally agree with them.
mm.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Because in my opinion, I think for some countries, some governments, maybe they don't really welcome like blockchain, but I believe that if more and more people in the world, if we like involve ourselves in the blockchain, let's say people started to use Bitcoin, and this will create a force for the government, right? Because like,
Mm.
let's say so many people use it, and then if that country is especially for democracy uh, country, people have some right to demand for what they want, right?
Mm.
So I
They
think
can vote.
that's
Yeah,
mm,
they can vote the leader who don't support it down.
mm, yeah,
Mm. You just kind of like make the incentive system you just make the political incentive system become better. Mm.
mm,
Or
yeah,
make them become more difficult to do something for their own benefits.
mm,
Mm.
yeah. So yeah, I think this is what I want to cover today. So
Mm.
anything else want to talk about?
No.
All right. So talk to you tomorrow, Eric.
Yeah, talk to you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Yeah, goodbye.